Imagine for a moment René Descartes, yes, the very same French philosopher who spent his days pondering the mysteries of existence, suddenly waking up in our world, surrounded by smartphones, hashtags, and the relentless scroll of social media. Now picture him, with his signature quill and a mind sharpened by centuries of philosophical debate, trying to do something as modern as getting verified on Twitter. It's a scene that's almost too delightful to resist. Descartes, the father of modern philosophy, squinting at a screen, typing out his credentials, and waiting for that coveted blue checkmark. But here's where things get interesting. Descartes is famous for his declaration, cogito ergo sum, meaning, I think, therefore I am. For him, the very act of thinking was proof enough of his existence. No need for paperwork, no need for witnesses, and certainly no need for a social media profile. His existence was self-evident, undeniable, and entirely internal. Yet in our digital age, existence seems to require a little more. It's not enough to think. You have to be seen, recognized, and, ideally, verified. The question isn't just, do I exist, but can I prove it to Twitter support? In this journey, we'll follow Descartes as he navigates the strange new world of digital identity, where philosophical certainty meets the bureaucracy of online verification. Along the way, we'll explore what it means to exist in a world that values external validation, how the rules of selfhood have changed, and whether a philosopher's proof can stand up to the algorithms and policies of the internet age. So let's step into this curious intersection of old wisdom and new technology, and see what happens when I think, therefore I am collides with I tweet, therefore I might be verified. Let's pause for a moment and consider what it actually means to have a digital identity. In the physical world, your identity is a tapestry woven from your memories, your relationships, and perhaps the occasional embarrassing childhood photo. But online, things are a little different. Here, your identity is distilled into a username, a profile picture, and a string of posts or tweets. It's a version of you that lives in pixels and code, shaped as much by what you share as by how others perceive you. Now, in this digital landscape, the idea of being verified has taken on a life of its own. On platforms like Twitter, verification is symbolized by that tiny blue checkmark, a badge that says, yes, this person is who they claim to be. But getting verified isn't as simple as just showing up and declaring, I think, therefore I am. There's a process, and it's surprisingly rigorous. You need to prove your notability, provide links to news articles or official websites, and sometimes even submit government-issued identification. It's a little like applying for a passport, but with more hashtags. Why does this matter so much? Because in the digital world, recognition is currency. Being verified means you're less likely to be mistaken for an imposter, your words carry more weight, and, let's be honest, it just feels good to be acknowledged. But here's the twist. Your existence online isn't confirmed by your own awareness, but by the approval of others. By algorithms, moderators, and the ever-watchful eyes of the internet. And as Descartes is about to discover, this shift from internal certainty to external validation is more than just a technicality. It's a whole new way of being. Now let's imagine Descartes, armed with centuries of philosophical confidence, sitting down to fill out Twitter's verification form. He's ready. He's got his famous line at the tip of his tongue. Cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am. Surely, he reasons, this is all the proof anyone could ever need. So, in the little box that asks for evidence of identity, he writes, I am aware of my own existence. I think, therefore I am. He hits submit, feeling rather pleased with himself. But then, the automated reply arrives. Thank you for your request. Please provide links to news articles, an official website, or government-issued identification. Descartes blinks. News articles? He's been dead for centuries. Official website? He's more of a treatise guy. Government ID? The closest he's got is a wax seal and a very old portrait. He tries again, this time attaching a scanned page from his meditations and a selfie with his quill. The response is the same. Insufficient documentation. Please try again. It's a comedy of errors, really. Descartes, who once doubted the very existence of the world around him, now finds himself doubted by a faceless algorithm. His internal certainty, so powerful in the realm of philosophy, is utterly powerless here. The blue checkmark remains stubbornly out of reach, and Descartes is left to wonder if thinking is enough in a world that demands proof in hyperlinks and headlines. This is where the frustration sets in. For Descartes, existence was a matter of self-awareness. For Twitter, it's a matter of paperwork and public presence. The disconnect is both hilarious and a little bit tragic, and it raises a deeper question. What happens when the standards for proving we exist shift from the inside out to the outside in? As we follow Descartes' journey, we'll see just how profound and how absurd this new reality can be. Let's take a step back from the digital chaos and return to the quiet study where Descartes first began his philosophical journey. Descartes was a master of doubt. He questioned everything: his senses, his memories, even the existence of the world around him. He wanted to find something that could not be doubted, a foundation so solid that all knowledge could be built upon it. So he stripped away every assumption, every belief, until he was left with just one undeniable truth: the fact that he was thinking. If he could doubt, then he must exist to do the doubting. That's where cogito ergo sum comes from. I think, therefore I am. It's the ultimate mic drop of philosophy. For Descartes, this was revolutionary. The self, the thinking mind, was the only thing he could be absolutely certain of. Everything else, the world outside, other people, even his own body, could be an illusion, a trick of the senses, or a dream. But his own awareness was beyond question. This inward certainty became the bedrock of his philosophy. Now contrast that with the world Descartes finds himself in today. Here, certainty isn't about what you know inside. It's about what you can prove to others. Digital identity flips Descartes' method on its head. Instead of starting with the self, it starts with external validation, documents, links, and public recognition. No wonder Descartes feels so out of place. His approach, so powerful in the realm of thought, seems almost quaint in a world that demands proof you can screenshot and share. And as we move forward, we'll see just how much this shift changes the very nature of what it means to exist. So, what happens when Descartes' rock-solid self-knowledge meets the tangled web of the internet? Suddenly, I think, therefore I am, starts to sound a little lonely. In the digital realm, knowing yourself isn't enough. You can be absolutely certain of your own existence, but if no one else can see you, tag you, or verify you, it's almost as if you're invisible. The gold standard of existence has shifted from the inner world of thought to the outer world of recognition. Here, third-party validation is king. Algorithms scan for signs of authenticity, cross-checking your name, your followers, your digital footprint. Public perception becomes a kind of currency. If enough people believe you're real, if the right sources vouch for you, then you exist in the eyes of the network. It's a strange new logic. Your identity is no longer just yours to claim. It's something that must be confirmed, echoed, and sometimes even constructed by others. And here's the paradox. The more connected we become, the more we depend on these external signals to prove who we are. Our profiles, our posts, our blue checkmarks, they're all little beacons calling out to the world, I'm here, I exist. But each beacon is only as bright as the network allows. In this world, self-knowledge is necessary, but it's not sufficient. You need the nod from the algorithm, the approval of the crowd, the stamp of digital authority. As we move forward, let's consider what this means for our sense of self. If existence is now a group project, how do we hold on to the certainty that Descartes prized so highly? And what does it mean for our humanity when our very being is up for public review? Now let's turn Descartes' famous phrase on its head. In the world of social media, it's no longer, "I think, therefore I am." Instead, it's starting to sound a lot more like, "I am verified, therefore I am." That little blue checkmark has become the new stamp of existence. A digital seal of approval that says, "You matter, you're real, you're worth listening to." It's a curious inversion, isn't it? The proof of your being is no longer found in the quiet certainty of your own mind, but in the public, performative theater of the internet. This shift has some real consequences, both for individuals and for society as a whole. When self-worth becomes tied to digital recognition, we start to measure ourselves by likes, followers, and, of course, verification status. The search for validation can become a kind of performance, where every post is crafted not just to express, but to impress. We curate our identities, polish our profiles, and sometimes even reinvent ourselves, all in the hope of being seen and acknowledged. It's a bit ironic, really. The more we seek to prove our existence to others, the more we risk losing touch with the quiet confidence Descartes championed. Our sense of self becomes fragile, dependent on the shifting tides of public opinion and algorithmic favor. And yet, this is the reality of modern existence. A world where being seen is often more important than simply being. As we reflect on this, let's ask ourselves, what do we gain and what do we lose when our existence is defined by the gaze of the crowd? As we look at Descartes' predicament through the lens of our hyper-connected world, it's clear that the digital age is rewriting the rules of existence and selfhood. The classical notion of the self, private, internal, and anchored in self-awareness, now finds itself in a tug-of-war with a new, outward-facing reality. Our digital selves are curated, shared, and sometimes even multiplied across platforms, each version shaped by the expectations and perceptions of others. The boundaries between the authentic self and the performed self begin to blur, raising questions that would have fascinated, and perhaps unsettled, Descartes himself. Privacy, once a sanctuary for the soul, is now a rare commodity. Every click, every post, every fleeting thought shared online becomes part of a public record, a digital shadow that follows us wherever we go. Authenticity, too, is up for debate. Are we more ourselves when we're alone with our thoughts, or when we're presenting our best selves to the world? The digital self is both real and unreal, a paradox that challenges our understanding of what it means to be. Some might say that digital existence is a new form of reality, a space where communities form, ideas flourish, and identities are explored. Others might argue it's a simulacrum, a copy of a copy, where the line between genuine connection and mere appearance is always shifting. Either way, the digital era invites us to rethink what it means to exist. Are we more than our profiles, our posts, our blue checkmarks? Or has being seen become the new measure of being? As we ponder these questions, we find ourselves at the crossroads of philosophy and technology, searching for meaning in a world that's always online. So, as we leave Descartes scrolling through Twitter, still unverified and perhaps a little bewildered, we're left with more than just a funny story about a philosopher out of time. His journey, armed with nothing but "I think, therefore I am," has shown us just how much the landscape of identity has changed. In a world where existence is measured not by inner certainty but by external validation, Descartes' failure to get that blue checkmark is more than a bureaucratic hiccup. It's a mirror reflecting our own struggles with selfhood in the digital age. Yet there's something enduring about Descartes' quest. His insistence on questioning, on seeking the foundations of existence, is as relevant now as it was in the 17th century. The digital world may demand new forms of proof, but the old questions remain. Who am I, really? What does it mean to exist? And how do I balance the need to be seen with the need to be true to myself? Perhaps the answer lies in finding harmony between the inner and the outer, between the quiet confidence of self-awareness and the noisy chorus of online recognition. Maybe we can learn to value both, the certainty that comes from within and the connections that come from without, without letting one eclipse the other. So, the next time you see that blue check mark, or find yourself chasing after digital validation, remember Descartes. He may not have gotten verified, but he did remind us that existence begins with a thought. And maybe, just maybe, it's the thinking that matters most, even in a world obsessed with being seen.